Hey folks, Paul Abernathy here. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about a very important topic for all of you journeymen, apprentices, and masters out there that are working in the electrical trade, and you have this urge to disagree or argue with somebody or say something nasty, only to realize that that's a bridge that you may burn in the electrical industry, and it may cost you big in the future. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about burning bridges in the electrical industry and why it can cost you big. So stay tuned for this episode on Master the NEC.
Welcome to the Master the NEC podcast, the ultimate destination for anyone passionate about the electrical trade. Whether you're a seasoned electrician, an eager apprentice, or just someone who wants to dive deep into the world of electrical work, you've come to the right place. Join your host, Paul Abernathy, a true authority in the industry with over 38 years of trade experience, as he electrifies your mind with in-depth discussions, expert tips, and valuable insights that will keep you ahead of the curve. Each episode, Paul will illuminate the complexities of the trade, decode the National Electrical Code, and share the latest industry trends, all while empowering you to take your electrical career to the next level. So, gear up, plug in, and get ready to supercharge your knowledge, because with the Master the NEC podcast, the power is in your hands. Now get ready. Here is your host, Paul Abernathy.
What up, everybody? Paul Abernathy here. Thanks for joining me on today's podcast, where we're going to talk about a really important topic, especially for all of you apprentices out there, journeymen, master electricians that are working for companies that have people that you answer to, or maybe people even answer to you. And you sometimes want to get mouthy and say stuff and cause problems and really burn that bridge of knowledge. And you just never know what it's going to cost you down the road. So that's the topic today, is basically your ability. You have a right to remain silent, but you don't have the ability. And so that's what we're going to talk about. Burning bridges in the electrical industry. Now, today, when we talk about this topic, it's just not discussed enough in the electrical industry. And of course, I will say that this is not just germane to the electrical industry. Okay. It just seems that that's the main one that I'm in tune with. So kind of in the topic of this discussion is going to be obviously more slanted towards the electrical industry and trying to give advice to journeymen, masters, people that work for companies and all those type of things that hopefully will save you some heartache down the road, because the trade needs to understand that there is a thing called burning bridges, specifically burning bridges with other electricians, burning bridges with inspectors, burning bridges with manufacturers, and yes, burning bridges with industry leaders like myself and other educators that are in the industry. Because I'm seeing more and more people that are online, especially on the social media world, that absolutely torch relationships that they desperately will need later in their career. And they might not even know it yet. But trust me, the electrical industry is a lot smaller than you think it is. Okay? So keep that in mind. It's kind of going to be the heart of our discussion today. And again, I am also not a hypocrite. I have fallen below that line of professionalism once or twice in my career, so I can kind of speak from authority here. But let's keep a couple things clear. There's a difference when you say burning bridges between somebody that can be influential in your career or your progression in life than it is for other people that are not. It's just acquaintances, and you don't really need them, so you're okay to burn that bridge. That's your choice, okay? So a classic example that I could give of that is I don't give a rat's ass about NFPA. They can't do anything for me. I disagree with a lot of things that they do, but at the end of the day, I still believe in the system. I still contribute to the development of the NEC. I believe in the mission, but I don't agree with the association. Same with IAEI. I believe it's a great mission. I agree it's a great responsibility that they hold, but I don't agree with the management or how they do things. Thus, I'm not a member. So again, there's differences here. Okay, so we want to focus more today on dealing with you as an electrician whether you're working with customers or whether you're trying to build your business or you're starting out and you're just an apprentice and you're working for somebody, there's an approach to it that I want to kind of plant a seed for you, because I see so many people who post nasty things online, say nasty things, and they don't really realize that they're probably burning a bridge that at some point in their career they may need. A great example is an electrician who I mentored quite a bit, gave a lot of knowledge to, tried to help, and even got them out of an issue when they got in trouble, only to turn around and stab me in the back. And at the end of the day, that's a bridge that never can be recovered. But it was pointless. There was no reason to do it. So why do it? So, things like that, actions have consequences, right? And so we have to think about those things. But let's kind of focus on the industry a little bit, because again, I want to try to put the bug in your ear that you have the ability to change your course of life, and so that things don't come back and nip you in the butt, right? You've heard politicians say that they go and they do a career and then they go run for office and then the little skeletons come out of their closet. Well, yeah, that's true. In some cases, it doesn't affect them. They still win, a la Virginia, but at the end of the day, there's skeletons there. So it's something that we have to think about, and you need to think about that as you're entering into this trade, or you're in this trade, or you're trying to grow your business, and how you interact with your customers, because you never know when that customer that you interact poorly with may keep you from getting another job down the road, okay, because of their brief interaction with you and how you handled yourself. So we're going to break this down. I'm going to give you some insight. And again, you can agree to disagree. That's the one reason that people ask why I don't comment on a lot of debates on social media. Because first of all, it goes nasty and people start name calling and people think that they're authorities in the industry, and they've only been in the industry for a couple years or 10 years at best. They've never served on code panels. They've never developed an opinion. They've never written books. They've never served on committees. They've never been a head of a jurisdiction. They don't have the experience to opine like they do, yet they pound their chest like they're right, and they totally ignore that you have a right to an opinion. They have a right to disagree, but we can all get along. But they take it down the wrong path, and it turns nasty. And that's just not what you need, certainly not for your ongoing reputation. Now, am I immune from that? No. I've been down that rabbit hole many a times in my career, and what I'm trying to do is to save you from that grief. It's unnecessary, okay? It's unnecessary. So let's talk about this and break it down a little bit. So let's talk about the industry. The industry, and when I say industry, I'm talking electrical, because that's my background. But this can, again, apply broadly through whatever you do, whether it's the office gossip or whatever it would be if you're in an office building. It's all the same concept, right? The industry is smaller than you think. Let me give you some straight talk here. In this industry, people talk, people gossip, reputations travel, screenshots and posts online live forever. You might think that you're just venting on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever. You might think you're just speaking your truth in a forum, a public forum. But what you're really doing is building a digital reputation trail that follows you everywhere. Now, you might be an electrician in the forum saying, I don't give a damn. I'll say what I want. Whatever, that's fine until it costs you your job or it gets shared with somebody, or at some point you want to enhance your career and move up, and somebody who is vindictive in nature, and people are, sadly, shares information. Also, again, at the end of the day, it's just nasty. So there's a reason why I block people on my social accounts, and I do not comment for the majority of stuff. I don't comment. Why? Because I'm an easy target. Everybody wants to challenge the code expert or the guy that's been in the industry for 40 plus years. We always want to be challenged where you think you know more than me. Maybe you do. But at the end of the day, we're not going to get into a tit for tat debate back and forth where your opinion outweighs my opinion. I've found that my opinions are based on experience and what I've dealt with. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Let's respectfully disagree, and you go on your way. I'll go on my way. That doesn't mean that down the road, I've had disagreements where people call me up and want my advice years later, but they didn't burn that bridge. They called me up and I was more than happy to have that discussion because we don't have to all agree all the time. But some people take it to the wrong level. And what I'm trying to do is keep you as an electrician from taking it to the next level. So that's my reason why I don't participate in those social. That's why I have my own forum that I participate in, because I won't let that garbage taint a topic. I'm just not going to do it. And nobody will ever see your shitty comment on any of my forums because I block it or I delete it. So don't waste your breath because nobody will ever see it. And I don't care about it because if you say something negative to me, I'll just say, well, at least I got you to watch it. Or at least I got you to listen to it. So guess what? That's an hour of your time you're never going to get back in your life. So who really wins? I win because I laugh my ass off at it because I don't care about your comments. So think about that. Just think about it for a little bit. Okay. Now, here's the reality most folks don't consider. And this is not just in the field. This is if you're an apprentice, you're a journeyman, you're working with other electricians, other people, other trades, other foremans, leaders. At the end of the day, you got to remember that the person that you may blast today may be the person reviewing your project tomorrow or your chance for advancement tomorrow. And, one good example of this is I remember seeing a video not too long ago of Tracy Morgan and this homeless guy who was asking him for food or something, and he refused to help him. And when you come to find out, the guy used to really torment Tracy when he was younger, up and coming. And so now this guy is homeless, man, he expects Tracy to help him. Well, Tracy's not under any obligation to help that guy. And I would have done the same thing. I'm saying, no, you're on your own. People say, oh, Paul, that's not the Christian thing to do. Kiss my ass. You burnt that bridge and you ain't building that bridge back. And that was Tracy Morgan's approach to it. And he has every right to have that approach. The holier than thou people will say, oh, but you shouldn't do that. We should love each other. Then you haven't spent any amount of time perusing through electrical forums to feel that way. Okay. So save me the moaning, groaning, because you have no clue. Okay. So the manufacturer's representative that you may mock today, belittle today, say something smart to today, maybe the one that helps you solve a real product issue in the future. Maybe it's an Eaton rep. Maybe it's a Schneider rep. Maybe it's somebody. You burn that bridge. Do you think that they're going to go out of their way to help you in the future? And at the end of the day, I want all the help I can get if I need it. But can you blame them for not helping them if you trashed them? How about this? The educator you trashed today on social media may be the ones whose course your apprentice or your helper or your electricians need to pass their exam in the future. And just maybe that educator decides they don't want to help you. Or maybe you trashed this educator because they've helped you for years, helped you get your license, gave you advice when you needed it. But for one reason, you may disagree and you immediately assume something and you go to social media and you start trashing them. And they have the audacity to think, well, that person must be an asshole because they won't talk to me anymore. No, it's because you trashed them. For what reason? You don't know them. Hell, half of you out there, I don't know any of you. Much less sit there and see you talk crap about people. That's different if you're a home inspector in Arizona who talks a bunch of smack and is not even an expert in electrical. But I even would have helped that guy if he needed electrical advice. And that all started years ago, and y'all know who I'm talking about. That's because this guy named Brandon, and all I did was give what the National Electrical Code says about it, and he got bent all out of shape and took it on his mission. Dude, that should have never gone anywhere because he could have said, well, that's not what we do in Arizona. I would have said, that's fine. I teach the National Electrical Code. I wasn't jumping on Brandon, but that guy took it to the next level because he likes the clicks. He likes to get the attention, and I get it. And he's got his little minions who are basically whack jobs that go around threatening people and cause all kinds of problem for people. That's a sickness. And I feel sorry for him. I'm not upset at him. I'm not upset. I feel sorry for him. I really do. It feels sorry for people like that. But that's the reason I don't comment. So in case you wondered, it's just not worth it. You can either learn from me or move on. Now, this industry, electrical speaking, has a long memory, okay? So people do not forget things, and they do hold things against you, okay? Now, how do burning bridges hurt your business? So if you're a contractor, for example, and you've lost technical support when you need it because you bash experts in the industry, you bash other people that could have been resources. If you disagree with them, bite your tongue. But at some point, you may need an expert for product clarification. You may need code interpretation discussion. You may want to bounce something off of somebody. You may need engineering support. I got a guy call me tonight, wanted some engineering help. I helped him out. Called me quite a few times. Good relationship with him. Okay. Don't mind helping people out at all that need to be helped. But the moment that he burns that bridge, don't call me no more. I'm done. Okay. People say, well, that's pretty petty. Shut up. You don't get it. You don't get it. Manufacturer's assistants, AHJ cooperation, electrical inspectors. There's no reason for you to belittle, talk down, get shitty with an electrical inspector. He may do it with you. He needs to listen to this podcast as well. But at the end of the day, you can be very professional, present your case. You can agree to disagree. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they have the authority, and you can either fight it or comply. But you can do it respectfully, okay? If you publicly trash the very person who provided that help in the first place, then guess what happens? You don't get the same level of responsiveness. They're not going to answer your calls. They're not going to help you out in the future. Maybe not officially, but professionally, they're not going to be there for you. Okay? They're not going to be there to help you out. Again, I have an example of where I've helped many people in this industry, and for whatever reason, they also get a bug up their ass and they don't want to talk to me, or they call me names on their podcast or whatever. And I, for the life of me, cannot think of what I ever did. I gave one guy advice not to use Ready Kilowatt in his in stuff that he creates and sells online. Next thing you know, he's bashing the shit out of me. And I'm like, dude, I've helped this guy. I've answered questions for this guy. I even helped him, prodded him along to get his master's license. But out of nowhere, he's just going to trash me on a podcast? So I think you get the point. What's the point of burning bridges? Why? What's the point? Now, damage to your own professional reputation. And we're back to talking about electricians, contractors, employers. When you go to deal with a customer, I've talked about this before, what we call soft skills. You do not tell your business to the customer. They don't want to hear your story. They don't care about your story. You're there to solve a problem. You're a problem solver. That's it. Solve your problem, get paid, and get out. They don't need your baggage. They may empathize with you, but at the end of the day, they're going on with their life. They don't give a damn about what you got going on. Sooner you realize that, the sooner you're going to stop opening up your baggage to other people who do not care. They act like they care, but they do not care. Okay? I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. They do not care. They really don't. So get over it. Okay? Now, how this damages your reputation with customers, with other people in the company, with your employer, with your foreman, with inspectors. The problem with it is that when you burn that bridge, those people could be in positions someday to help you. Why would you want to do that? Right? So in the trade, your reputation is just like currency. When people see repeated rants, personal attacks, public call-outs, unprofessional posts, they start asking one question. Is this somebody I want to work with? Is this somebody that I want to promote? Is this somebody I want to give a good recommendation for? I mean, you burnt that bridge. I'm just going to let you flounder. I'm not going to help you. So the gentleman that I helped out because he was having an issue with some counterfeit code books, I wrote a letter. I didn't have to do that. I wrote a letter to help him and his wife. But then he ended up burning that bridge just weeks later. It's one of those things that I'll never help you again. Why did you have to do that? It was not necessary. I didn't do anything to do it. Wasn't crappy with you. So at the end of the day, I don't understand. I don't know why people burn bridges like that, especially if there's somebody in the industry that can help you grow. And if he's already helped you grow, then it's proven that they do help you grow. Why would you want to do that? If I'm an electrician and I'm an apprentice, why am I going to talk shit about the master who's helping me? I may not agree with him. I may not always come to the same meeting of the minds, but I'm not going to talk smack about him. I'm not going to talk behind his back to Johnny, who's a neutral third party, who's going to form an opinion to that guy based on what I tell him. And then when he gets a relationship with that person and realizes he's not the way that I say he is, now he's going to judge me, and that's going to ruin our relationship. It's not worth it. Again, I tell people this all the time. Loose lips sink ships. Keep your mouth shut. You have the right to remain silent, but some people just don't have the ability. Okay? Now, once that seed is planted in somebody, they don't want to work with you, you're a troublemaker, you're a mouthy person, you spread it, blah, blah, blah. Once that seed's planted, it's very hard to undo. And again, we're talking about in the field when you're working with your coworkers, working with your supervisors, whatever. Now, look, you may have disagreements with somebody in the field. You may not like your boss. You may not like your supervisor. You may not like your coworker. But here's the deal. Swallow that pride. It doesn't do you any good to banter back and forth. No good at all. Why? Because you never know when that helper may hit a home run in their company and you may need to go to work for them one day. He's like, well, I'm never going to do that. Bullshit. I've seen it more than once. Okay? Don't burn that bridge. You want to gripe at home. Gripe to your significant other. Gripe on your time. When you leave a job, don't bitch about the job and burn that bridge, because you never know when you may have to go back to feed your family. Leave those breadcrumbs alone. And I don't know how many times, and people, we have this sense of wanting to get the last word in, right? And it's not just electricians. It's anybody that gets pissed off. We want the last word. We want to leave it as, gotcha. It's the last word. I get it. Everybody's got that pride. Again, this is why I don't comment in comments, because it seems like it's just a long tit for tat. Nobody wins. Everybody gets pissed off. Reputations get destroyed. This is why I don't comment. So people ask me out there, they say, well, Paul will block you. He won't comment. Absolutely right. One is because I don't care about your opinion, because you're not going to sway my opinion, because I spent nearly 40 years forming my opinions. If you disagree with me, you may be right. I may be wrong. But you need to accept it that you're not going to change me. That's it. Move on. So I'm just not getting into that tit for tat. Now, on my forum that we have, shameless plug, over on necchat.com, which is free for you to join, there is zero bullying there, zero hate. We help everybody over there. You can post pictures, images, graphics, whatever you want. We help everybody over there. Okay? And you want to post it, ask a code question, or you want to do something, perfect. It is not like the other social platforms. I don't want that garbage. I don't want the dancing boobies and all that. It's not what it's about. Does that mean we won't get that many followers? That's fine, because I don't care. I made it as a resource. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. Remember, words matter. And it's easier. It's easier just to say something and then have to backtrack than it is just to keep your mouth shut and don't burn that bridge. Okay? Now, most people don't realize this, that, at the end of the day, when you make all those attacks, that you probably are going to lose opportunities that you never even knew you had. You won't even know. Because this one hurts the most, because most people never realize it's even happening. Okay, you may never get a job that you were recommended for. In other words, you don't get the job because you weren't even recommended. Or even if you were recommended, somebody in there said, I wouldn't hire them. Well, you'll never know the reason why. They're not going to put that in there. Oh, well, Johnny said don't hire you because you're a dick. Maybe there's a committee you weren't invited to because nobody wants to work with you because you run your mouth. Hey, I'm guilty of that. But you know what? I do that on purpose because I don't like committees. I don't want to fly out to Texas anymore or somewhere and sit on a committee with a bunch of people that pound their chest. That's why I stopped doing the PSI stuff and helping with code development panels. I don't care about that crap anymore. I have no interest in it. I'm over it. The younger Paul? Yeah. Was the younger Paul an a-hole from time to time? Absolutely he was. But it was calculated. I knew what I was doing. I wasn't burning a bridge. I was setting a foundation. Hey, I'm letting you know, don't call me. I don't want to help you. Okay? And maybe that's what you do. But I certainly would not do that if you're a young apprentice, a journeyman, a master, a business owner, because you're always going to need somebody to help you. And if you burn that bridge, you don't have that help anymore. How about the partnership that passes you up because you're somebody they don't want to work with because you started talking smack to somebody and it comes back to haunt you? Or maybe a consulting opportunity that went elsewhere because they just don't want to work with you. I know for a fact that I have not written any books in a long time for a major publishing house because somebody said, yeah, you don't want to work with Paul. He's a problem to work with when it comes to writing books. And I am a problem. I honestly, because I have a high standard and it's not, I don't just settle. And so I'm difficult to work with. That's fine. I've accepted that. That's not burning a bridge because I didn't want that work to begin with. So again, all these things, why? Because decision makers saw some online behavior, heard something somebody said, or the person that's in a position to put you in a position that you want to be in, you had an interaction with them and you ranted and you called them names or whatnot, then you burnt that bridge. And here's the thing. All of those things, promotion, recommendation, committees, consulting gigs, all that kind of stuff, you'll get no announcement, you'll get no warning, you'll get no understanding of why you just didn't get called. It's kind of like you bidding on a job and you put a good price out there and you never understand why you didn't get the bid. And it eats you up, right? Because you're like, I want to know, was I too high? Was I too low? Was I right in the ballpark? What's the reason you didn't hire me? It's the same thing here. You're never going to know why you didn't get that position, you didn't get that promotion, or why you may have to go back to a company because you've lost your job where you were at and you want to go back to the company you work for, but you burnt that bridge and you wonder, well, maybe they forgot. They don't forget. Don't burn that bridge. Now, when it comes to social media, the bridge burning machine, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Social media has made it dangerously easy to burn bridges instantly. So again, before social media, it was harder. Okay. You had to pick up the phone. You had to write a letter. You had to say something face to face to burn that bridge. Okay. It's more interactive. Now, one emotional post, one late night rant, one comment typed in frustration, and boom, permanent record. So I have people, for example, that I've helped out for years, answered questions for them. They know they could pick up the phone and give me a call. I stumble on a post in the forum, and yes, we'll find it. Somebody will share it with somebody else. It will come to light, and I read it, and I go, well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Don't think you're doing it in a private room and somebody won't share something, or they won't screen capture it and share it with somebody. It's just the nature of the beast, okay? It's all online. I see something like that, or somebody else sees something like that, and you realize that bridge is burnt. And you can act innocent all you want, but it's right there in black and white. There you go. Boom. Big mistake. So biggest mistakes I see electricians make online is they'll publicly trash inspectors. They'll mock manufacturers without any true facts. They don't understand how something's made. They don't understand the UL standards. They don't understand how the NEC's developed, and they make stupid ass statements that they can't back up. They just say it. They just make it up. There's no facts behind it. It's just what they feel. So they put it out there in an emotional post. They attack educators or code experts, saying they're dumb, they're stupid, they don't know what they're talking about. Yet they may have only been in the field a couple years, or maybe they're an electrician that's been in the years 50 years in the field, but they've only taken one exam and everything else has been a renewal. And yet all of a sudden they think they're the authority on everything, and they've never served on a code panel. They've never written a book. They've never written an article. They've never done a podcast or a blog. They've never done anything to give to the industry. But all of a sudden they're an expert simply because they hold a license for 50 years? No, sorry, it doesn't work that way. You could be doing something for 50 years. You still could be doing it wrong. How do I know? Because I had people come up to my seminars that say, I don't want to come to a seminar for continuing education. I've been doing this for 50 years. The moment they leave, what do they say to me? They pull me aside and go, Mr. Abernathy, I apologize. I learned some new stuff today. Everybody can learn new stuff. Airing customer disputes publicly, posting them online, arguing with the customer face-to-face, all of those things are just not going to be good for your reputation. And it's unnecessary. This is why I teach soft skills, and that's why I have a lot of consulting gigs with electrical contractors in how their employees need to deal with customers. You don't need them sharing any baggage or arguing with the customer. There's a tactful way to do everything. Okay? Posting emotion instead of professionally is a problem. And this is, again, why I don't comment online. I just don't want to get into it. People say, well, Paul blocks people. He doesn't comment. Damn right I don't. It's not worth it. Listen, you may feel justified at the moment that you made that schnikey comment, but the internet doesn't forget context. It just remembers the behavior. The reason why I don't post in debates online to try to, until I'm blue in the face, try to educate somebody over and over because they won't listen, is because the next person that stumbles onto that conversation are not going to go to the very beginning and read it all. People are too lazy for that. How do you think TikTok got so grows so quickly, the little 3 minutes? Because people's attention spans are small. All they do is see the sensational post and they start to jump in there and they form an opinion of somebody. Well, that guy's an asshole. They didn't read the context of the entire discussion because people don't do it. And that's the problem with little minions, and that's the problem with the people that follow the quote influencers who spread false and misleading information and then get into these little pissing contests. And the next thing you know, people stumble on it and say, yeah, he's right, that guy's a dick. And they don't realize that you're riding the wrong horse in this race because you didn't go back and read the beginning of the conversation. But people don't do that. But remember, the negative comment or the harassment or the fight or the argument lingers on forever on social media. Look, the long game of professional relationships in this industry, the most successful people in the industry understand one thing. This is a long game. In our trade, we hang around for many, many years. I talked to a gentleman the other day. He called our office, talked to him for about an hour. He's in his 70s. He's still getting back into the trade. He's been doing it for 60, 50 years or whatever it is. I mean, just a long freaking time, even longer than me. And he still loves it. Okay? This is a long game. Careers in the electrical industry can span decades, not months, not years, but decades. And during that time, everybody that you're having an argument, everybody you disagree with, whether you're on the job site, helpers, journeymen, other people, other trades, supervisors, jobs you work for, customers. Remember, over time, people's roles changes, positions change, influence shifts from person to person. People move into leadership roles that were not in the leadership at the time you had your confrontation. So today, inspectors, instructors, engineers, manufacturers, reps, committee members, and maybe, just maybe, tomorrow's gatekeepers. Those folks may be, which they're not today, they may be the gatekeepers of opportunity for you and your business or for your growth personally, and you have burnt that bridge. For the life of me, I would not understand why educators out there on the internet who I've helped through the years feel like they would get any type of benefit at trashing me online when they don't even know me. But sadly, that is where we're at in the industry. And I'm just trying to keep you younger electricians, younger educators who want to build a name, apprentices, journeymen, masters, want to keep the integrity, you want to own your business one day, You never know. The inspector you trash may be the building official down the road and make it very difficult for you to do any work in that town. So it's really important that you think about those actions. Now, what to do instead of burning bridges? Okay, so what should you do when you disagree with somebody? And again, this is an exercise that, again, I don't comment and I just block. But this is what you would do in the real world. If you're an electrician and you're working in the field, whatever level you're at, when you disagree with somebody, because disagreements are going to happen. And here's the professional playbook on how to do that. Number one, address issues privately first. Before you go public, just pick up the phone, send a professional email, ask for clarification, seek understanding. You'd be amazed at how many conflicts disappear with a very simple discussion. Just talk it out. Okay? Now, again, we're talking about people that you may need that you don't want to burn that bridge. Not talking about, for me, for example, if I have another educator and I'm like, that's like, well, Paul, you should practice what you preach. You don't want to burn the bridge. There's no educator out there I'm going to call for code advice. I didn't need to do that 20 years ago. It's not that I sit here and say I know everything there is about the code book, but I understand how to read it, interpret it, and form an opinion now. And it took me years to get to that point. So I'm not burning bridges. I like to keep relationships. For example, me and Mike Holt get along great. It seems to be that online that people think we don't. We get along great. Do I like Mike's forum? No. I think those moderators in there are full of crap. I think that they pound their chest that Mike should probably get rid of all of them, but that's Mike's forum. That ain't my forum. But as far as Mike and Mario and Brian and all them, they're great people. I get along with them all the time. Anytime we're at an event together, we go out to eat or do something, that's great people. But people like to propagate stuff that's not true. Well, why not ask the source? The easiest thing to do is just ask the source. Okay? Pick up the phone, call. It's important. Next, stick to the facts and remove the personal attacks. If you must discuss something publicly, focus on the technical issues, cite the code references, stay professional, try to remove emotion from the discussion. The moment it comes personal, you start damaging your brand. You can say, I agree to disagree. The other person's able to say, yeah, it's because you're stupid, you're full of crap, you don't know anything about the code. They took it personal. My response to that would be, okay, you're right. You know it all. I'm wrong. Ho-hum, far be it for me to correct you and then move on. Now, did I do that years ago? Absolutely not. There is a reason why I don't put the strawberry ice cream in my freezer, because I know if it's there, I'm going to eat it. So if I don't comment, and if I turn off the ability to comment or comment to people's posts, then what happens is I don't have the temptation to do it and go down that rabbit hole. Hell, I'm human. So that's why I do it that way. I don't need to take a perfectly good, if I share an example of a post, I don't need 500 people commenting, taking it all the way to the extreme left or extreme right, or arguments in there about this guy's wrong, that guy's wrong, or people picking pieces of it and sharing it out of context. I just don't allow it. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not going to get into the banter back and forth. And it's worked great for me. I've been doing that now for about 5 years. It works great. That type of thing. Now I have my little moments with some home inspectors, but at the end of the day, yeah, I don't really get back and forth in it that much anymore. I don't get in the weeds like I used to, that type of thing. And I had to grow. And I'm saying to you, grow. You don't need to do that. Now, assume you may need that person later. That's an important thing to remember. When you're getting ready to jump on somebody, now, if it's just two electricians that want to fight it out and that gets your nipples hard and you want to go arguing back and forth in a forum and look like idiots, then you do that. You have at it. That's on you. That's whatever. I'm saying there's a big difference between that and then burning bridges with your job, your employers, and people that you interact with every day that could be influential in your success in the future, or doing that with people in the industry that may be able to help you, like me and other people, Mike and all that. Burning those type of bridges as you climb that ladder to success is really stupid for you to do that for no reason. There's no reason to do that. But think about it. So here's the process that you look at. Here's the golden rule. Before you post anything, ask yourself this question. What if I need this person's help in 2 years, 3 years, 1 year? Is it possible that this guy is known enough or this girl is known enough in the industry that I might need their help on something at some point, maybe in a committee, or if I need a code interpretation, or I find myself in trouble because life changes on a whim, right? You need an expert witness on something because you're a contractor and you end up getting in a lawsuit and you need an expert. Who do I call? Well, I can't call that bridge. I burn it. Okay. So ask yourself, will I need this person's potentially their help sometime later in my career? And if that question gives you pause for a second to think about it, then it's best to not hit that send button or not hit that post button. So ask yourself that before you make some schnikey remark. Will I need this person's help someday? Now, you might be saying, nope, I don't need this pinhead's help ever. Then you do you, boo. But educators, think about that before you post it. Just remember, I'm not here to be your friend. I don't care whether you like me or not. So I'm just saying it for your benefit because I help anybody until they burn that bridge and then you're dead to me. So if you don't need me or you don't need Mike or you don't need other people's help, then you just keep doing you. But that's educators. That's people that are moving up that ladder. When it comes to electricians in the field, plumbers, mechanical, don't burn those bridges in the field. Be respectful to other people you work for, be respectful to your boss, respectful to the company you work for. Don't leave on bad terms. Don't burn that bridge so you always have a place that you possibly could go back to. Don't talk shit to the inspectors. You can disagree and do it professionally and respectfully, but don't get on their bad side because you never know when they may become the head inspector, when they may be the building official, and make your life miserable. Might need a referral from them one day. Going to look kind of bad if you ever have to go back to somebody and ask for a referral after you burnt that bridge. Okay? And if you do it too many times, you're going to run out of people that can help you. Because if you have a tendency to do that with one person, then you probably have a tendency to do that with more than one person. Okay? So think about that. Now, protect your professional brand at all times. Whether you realize it or not, you are building your personal brand every day. Every post, every comment, every interaction in the field. Ask your reputation. It adds to your reputation in this industry if you carry yourself properly. And if you carry yourself wrongly, say things you're not supposed to, propagate misinformation or falsehoods or make up lies or say things, it will follow you. And you need to be intentional about it. You need to catch yourself and ask yourself, okay, I know this guy's a coworker, but someday I might need to work for another company, and guess what? He may be the foreman. He may be the owner. Think about it. Is it worth it? Is it worth to spout off your mouth for a little bit and burn a bridge? Is it really worth it in the long run? Because I can promise you, words are just words. When people post things on my Facebook and things like that or on YouTube, nobody's ever going to see the post and you're going to get deleted. But if it makes you feel better and you want to keep creating fiction usernames to keep posting, you do you. Doesn't bother me. I get a kick out of the fact that I took that part of your life away from you and I laugh. But there's a reason why I don't allow public comments. There's a reason why I don't get into the debate. And it also gives me a reason to capture who your username is so that I can add it to my database, your IP address and all that stuff to block you from ever having any ability for you to use any of the stuff that my company comes out with, because one day you may need it. Whether you need an interpretation or exam prep, or your son needs exam prep, or your significant other needs exam prep, or wants to learn the NEC or needs something, I will not be there to help you. I track all that stuff. Yeah, it's exhausting. I love it. Okay, so think about that. Now, let's close this out and say, let me leave you with this. In the electrical industry, your knowledge gets you in the door, but your reputation keeps the doors open. You don't have to agree with everybody. You don't have to like everybody. But you need to stay professional, because the bridge you burn today may be the one that desperately needs to be crossed tomorrow. And if you burn it, you're not crossing it. Folks, if you enjoyed this episode or hit home with anybody or made you think about it or caused you to create a discussion with somebody else in your company or having a little discussion with your employees and say, look, guys, all of you may not get along, but don't talk crap about each other. Just do your job, put your time in, be respectful. Again, because I want to be able to openly hire you back someday if you leave me. I want to be able to refer you to other people. I don't want you to be on, as a troublemaker. Just come and do your job. You can have these discussions with your employees. And if you're the employee, you're there to earn your money. If you disagree with what you get paid, don't openly run your mouth about it. Negotiate it with the company. Other than that, leave on good terms. Go somewhere else because you never know when you may have to come back. Don't burn that bridge with the inspector. Educators, don't burn the bridge with other people that have paved the way for you because you've just burnt the ability to ask questions. Because I can tell you right now, some of you people out there that are new to the industry, interpretations that you're putting out online are incorrect, false, and misleading. And again, I'm not going to comment on them because I'm not going to be that guy, but it'll embarrass you as you move further into your industry. It will. It'll come back to haunt you. Okay? So just think about those things. So if you got anything from this, folks, share it with other electricians, share it with apprentices, share the message. Let's keep raising the professionalism of this industry together. Until next time, folks, stay sharp, stay professional, and keep on mastering the NEC. Until next time, stay good.
Thanks for tuning into another electrifying episode of the Master the NEC podcast. We hope you're feeling more powered up and ready to tackle the electrical world with the knowledge and confidence you need to succeed. Remember, in the electrical trade, knowledge is power, and we're here to make sure you stay plugged into the latest insights, tips, and code updates. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share the podcast with your fellow electricians and industry pros. Until next time, keep your tools sharp, your circuits clear, and your mind focused, because here at the Master the NEC podcast, we're all about sparking your success. Stay safe, stay smart, and keep mastering the trade. From all of us here at Electrical Code Academy, thank you for all your support, and we will see you on the next amazing Master the NEC podcast episode.